Hey boys and girls, Daily here checking in with Gamers Platoon. Today we're going to be looking at Mass Effect 3, the third game, the last game in the trilogy, the Mass Effect trilogy, by far my top 3 fucking favorite games ever. As always, not going to try and get too much into the story, just looking at gameplay here. The endings, if you're a Mass Effect fan, not so great, but hey, it's an ending to a trilogy, so you know they do what they have to do. So we're going to show you some of the character customization features in the beginning, and then we're going to look at some of the gameplay, and then we'll wrap it up there with a little bit of multiplayer. So let's hop right in. Alright guys, so as I said, we're going to hop in here and check out some of the customization for Mass Effect 3. The first thing you'll notice is that you can import your Mass Effect 2 character from the previous game, which in Mass Effect 2 you can import your Mass Effect 1 character, so you can really take your character through all 3 games and really play the same experience that you're used to from the other games. So that's a very neat feature. Now basically when you do that, it's going to import some of your stats and your good to bad level rating, but we're going to create a new character. We're going to create a male, and really just kind of show you some of, like I said, the customization that you can do here. Now what you'll see here is your experience. There's 3 different experiences. For people who are looking to play Mass Effect for the action side, you want to play the third person cover-based shooter with the powers and things like that. The action is going to be for you. The role playing is going to be the traditional, where it's half action, half story. You're going to be able to choose all the dialogue. The combat's going to be adjustable, and you're really going to get to interact with your character. And last but not least, we have the story, and the story basically lessens the combat, makes it a lot easier to beat the levels and to beat the enemies, and it's mainly focused on just the interaction with your characters that you're playing and the overall story of Mass Effect. So the basic one is role playing. That's both. That's what I like, so we're going to select that. So this is the first part where you can customize your name. Your last name is going to stay the same because you always play Shepard, but you can customize your first name. Then you'll get to the appearance screen. This is where the customization really comes into effect. Obviously you have your preset Shepards. What I like to do is take a base one that you kind of like for example this one, and then modify whatever you want. You have the facial structure, the head, eyes, jaw, mouth, nose, and hair, and different things to kind of make this character you, because you're going to be seeing a lot of up close and personal things on your character, so it's good to kind of give them a that customizable tone, make him maybe look like Dennis Rodman, whatever floats your boat, you can do. So we're going to go past this here and look at the different classes in the game. There's a couple different classes. Your soldier is going to be the guy that can use all your weapons. Infiltrator, kind of stealthy tech guy. The Vanguard, which is the kind of bruiser. The Sentinel, Adept, and Engineer. So there's tons of different classes to choose from, and they're all tweakable and customizable to the way that you play. Then you have 3 different psychological profiles. This is basically going to affect some of the people that you meet in the game, things like that. Then you have your service history. This will also affect the way people interact with you in the game, because this is Mass Effect, and if you haven't played one before, it's very, very detailed as far as who you talk to and what you see. It's very different depending on your background that you create for your character. And the last part of the psych profile is, if you didn't play the previous games and you're not importing a character, this is going to be basically where you choose who died throughout your team. You have 1 or 2 choices, and whichever one you choose, this person will be dead in the game, or you can choose numerous, and it will basically, pretty much everybody will be dead except for the main couple characters that are needed to progress the story. So we'll move on from here, then you'll check your stuff, and then we're going to hop in game now and show you some of the in-game combat and some of the in-game features. Alright guys, so really Mass Effect 3 plays like a third-person cover-based shooter. You'll see enemies here with a window in between. It's got some destructible parts of the environment, windows, sometimes certain buildings, but you'll see I have a squad here. They can't see us because we're in the dark, but our squad here consists of 2 people. One person is kind of a combat guy, and that's this guy here. He's going to be kind of my shooting guy, and then this lady right here is what they call a biotic. She has kind of like special powers and stuff. So I'm going to show you some of the combat, take out these guys. I'm playing as a soldier, so I have a slowdown time kind of thing, basically like a little slow-mo. It doesn't last too long, but we're going to use that, and we're going to take out these 2 goons here, and just kind of give you just a quick glimpse. We're going to cover some more combat aspects later on, but this would be a good eye-opener to show you, you know, kind of the way that Mass Effect is played. Here you see I paused the combat. This is done by the shift button. It freeze frames. As long as I hold down shift, I can freeze it here, and I can choose powers, almost like a turn-based kind of game, but it's all live. So like, let's say I want to give this girl you know, this ability here to use. When I unpause it, she will do that, and it's a pretty neat feature of the game. And there you have it. Enemies are dead. The reason their bodies disappear, in case anybody's wondering, is I'm using fire ammo, so their bodies actually disintegrate after and burn after I do that. So the next part I'm going to show you is some of the cinematics flawlessly through gameplay here. When I click a button, it's going to turn on the cinematics, and it's really going to be a cool little transition.
We need to pressurize the room first.
So there's also a combat feature that I really want to show you, and that's when you shoot these guys, they actually have effects. The bullets just don't kind of hit them and their health goes down. If you shoot them in the legs, you know, they'll stumble. Shoot them in the arms, and you know, they may fling back like that. The bullets and the features in the game are really impactive on the person. So it's not like you're just shooting a massive health bar and draining health. You're actually shooting, you know, the character in the game, and his body is going to react to that fire. Depending on, if we give this guy a lot of fire, he'll start to stumble back, and you see his shield kind of goes up because he's just got too much concentrated fire to deal with. And we eventually will get here. We got a little more of the intense cover-based action. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this is the next cool feature that we're going to show you. Ignore the scary looking fucking face on there. This is just a randomly created character. The dialogue options is really what brings Mass Effect out for me, man. I really like the custom experience of being able to tell these guys, you know, something positive, which is usually the top one, or the bottom one, which is you know, usually your kind of more aggressive tone, and every once in a while you'll get a neutral one here in the middle, or some other options along the back side. So it's not always just a 1 or 2 answer. Sometimes there'll be questions that you can ask to change the outcome of, you know, the conversation. But you know, this lady looks like a bitch, so we're gonna make her be a bitch.
We need to focus if we're gonna stop them.
Yes, ma'am.
Come on. Let's see if we can get them to send that tram over.
Alright guys, this is the next feature that we're going to be looking at. This is the Normandy, or where most of the game takes place. This is the war room, and this is where you can check your in-game stats and things like that to see. Game has a nice play out of, you know, how you combat, you know, the Reaper force here, which is the bad guys in the game. You have the effective military strength, or EMS as everybody calls it. But the cool thing about this is it's affected by your multiplayer. The more you play multiplayer, the higher that can go. The more things that you do in game with other alliances and species and stuff like that all help you out and give you plus to your rating here. But you'll see where the minimum mark is, and you'll see where the maximum mark is. So basically, you don't want to try and fight the Reapers until you're past your minimum. But even then, you want to work to make sure that you have as many forces as possible to try and get the best outcome. So as I mentioned before, we're on the Normandy. As I said, this is the ship where you do all of your interaction with your crew and stuff. There's a lot of famous people in the game: Seth Green, Charlie Sheen's dad, Freddie Prinze Jr. There's a bunch of famous people in here, but you can interact with all of them through your ship, and they're all on different levels of the ship, and you can see who's where, through the menu that you just saw. But interacting with the squad members can unlock new missions and bonus powers and things like that, so it's good to run around and check in with your crew every once in a while and just kind of see how everyone's doing. The next thing we're looking at here is the weapon loadout customization screen. You can unlock a bunch of different guns in the game here. You'll see I have a few different ones. I don't have many as of yet, but they impact the rate at which your powers recharge. So the more weapons you have, the slower your recharger is on your powers. So that's the things I was using, like the slow-mo and stuff. But each gun is customizable as well if you have the proper tools to modify this. We're going to look here at some of the guns you have. So once you select one to modify, you can choose what goes on there, and you'll see it affects the gun characteristically. This one changes the little light up there, and then the next one adds the increased damage to the barrel. You see the barrel go on. So all the guns are customizable like this through mods that you can find and unlock in the game, and it will increase their damage. I don't really have any other modifications for any of the other weapons yet, but they are there, so you can change them out and add them on, and customize the weapon to the way that you want, all the way from red dot scopes to laser pointers and things like that, all features. Alright, here we're going to see the Alliance requisition system. This is how you can acquire some of the mods that I was talking about earlier, like the red dot and the extended barrel. The first one that we're going to look at is empty because I've bought everything, but this one here shows you some of the upgrades that you can buy for your weapons. The assault rifle dampener, upgraded magazines, you can buy different armor packs, different model ships for your personal cabin, things like that, which we'll take a look at the cabin in just a little bit. You also have the Spectre requisitions, which is directly from the Special Forces. Here you can see some unique guns and things like that you can't buy on the regular market. Alright guys, this is the Commander Shepard's personal room. Here you're going to see there's a couple different customizable features that you can do for your room. You can customize it with different model ships that you buy from different shops and have a nice little model collection. You have a fish aquarium here that has an actual fish feeder and things like that. If you don't feed the fish, they'll die, and so it's kind of cool to be able to put some personalization into the room. You also have a music player over there that lets you listen to the music in the game. But here's the coolest part. This is the wardrobe. This is where you can customize what your Commander Shepard looks like. You have casual looks, which is what you wear when you're walking around on the ship. And what you see when you're in non-combat situations, if you're on the Citadel buying things or talking with your squad mates. In a non-combat, you'll be in your off-duty clothes, which is the casual set. Then you'll see the armor set, and this is cool because it has two modes. Basically, you have this mode, which is where you can customize it yourself. You can put on different helmets, different breather masks. You can change the chest plate, the shoulders, the arms, the legs, the material, which changes like the glint and tint to the armor. You can add camouflage patterns. You can change the color, whatever your favorite color is. Even if you're a girl, you can customize this with some girl colors. Doesn't necessarily have to be anything like that, but it's all customizable armor. You can even customize everything down to the lights, what kind of lights you have on your backpack, and that's that kind of thing. If you don't want to take the time to do that, though, they have sets of armor. I have one right now from pre-ordering the game, and you'll see it here. It has its own set of stats and things of that nature. So This is all customizable by the player. You see my clothes changed here. I can change them on the fly, and it'll automatically switch into whatever whatever one you choose, and you can wear that around your ship, when you're talking to your squad mates. Alright guys, this is the last part of the review for today. We're going to be checking out the multiplayer aspect of Mass Effect. Here you'll see the different types of classes, just like in the single player. You have all the different types of classes, and you can actually be different types of characters here as well. You can create new characters. If you have them unlocked, you can open them up, so you can actually play as Krogan and Turian and things of that nature. If you have Battlefield, here's a little hidden agenda thing for you. Battlefield 3 skin. It's got the regular dude with the glowing part in his arm. Pretty cool for them to kind of implement the game, just like in Battlefield, how you can have the Mass Effect dog tags. But you'll see here, you've got a couple different classes with a couple different characters each. After you choose the class, the game is pretty basic. We're not going to actually play the multiplayer today because all it is a wave defense. That's all there is wave defense. But that's not to say it's not fun. As I said earlier, the multiplayer affects your single player. You'll see I have 50% all around here. But the higher I raise that, the more success that I have in the single player to beat it. So it's pretty neat how they kind of design those in, but it's not needed. You don't have to play the multiplayer to help your single player. It's just an option. The last thing in here is the store. You don't unlock your weapons in a general way like you do in most games, where you kind of level up and then there it is, but more or less you do it by completing the waves. You'll get money, and you spend this money on these packs that have different types of items in them. And none of them are guaranteed. It's just the type of pack that you want to buy could contain certain items. Like this one includes 5 random items or characters with at least 1 uncommon or better. So it's pretty much your gamble for your weapons and equipment, which are all customizable through your character menu. You can customize the points progression here, as you see. You can customize the weapons that he carries, just like in the single player. You can't really customize the Battlefield 3 guy, but the other ones you can customize the colors and the name, and then his equipment, which is the special things that he carries into the game, which, as I said, is wave defense only at the moment. So that about wraps up this part of the multiplayer. It's fun to play. It doesn't offer a lot of replayability, but if you just want to get in there with your friends and try and survive all 10 waves, then the multiplayer side is fun, and it's new for Mass Effect, so I was glad to see it put in there in any case. Alright guys, there was one additional thing that I wanted to show you guys before we close out this episode of the Armory, and that is the downloadable content. We don't usually touch on this, but as a big Mass Effect fan, there's something I wanted to cover. When you go to the downloadable content page, you'll see I actually have some DLC going now. We have the From Ashes pack, which is 800 BioWare points, I believe is like $5 or $6, and what this does is this adds some new elements to the storyline for the main game. But BioWare is being absolutely awesome. They have some of these DLCs to buy. You'll see this one here. There's more expected to come out as well. But you also have these 2 packs here, Rebellion and Resurgence, and they're both free. And I thought that was fucking awesome. They're more for the multiplayer, not for the single player, but that's good. They're upgrading some maps, giving you some new maps and some new games, some different character skins, and it was so nice to see BioWare actually, give back to the community by releasing some free shit for them. And I was so fucking happy when I saw that there was DLC for free. I would love to see other games do this. So all in all, man, Mass Effect, for me, gameplay, storyline, multiplayer, all greatly done. Whether or not I like the ending is whatever. It is the end of the trilogy. There's nothing to do. There's nothing else for them to do but in the game. So you know, it's whatever. It might not be a great ending, but it doesn't matter because Mass Effect is officially over. That's not to say there won't be new Mass Effect games in the future, but you will no longer be playing Commander Shepard, and you know, that's where Mass Effect is right now. So all in all, guys, Mass Effect 3, awesome game. Check it out. It definitely deserves you know, a buy. You're gonna get free DLC. You're gonna have hours upon hours of gameplay and be able to replay levels and experience things different ways. Fully customizable, you know, experience. So Mass Effect 3 in the Armory. This is Daily for Gamers Platoon, and we will see you guys next time in the Armory.